Hi, I'm Ed Kelly, and I'm happy to have an opportunity to show you my wood shop and some of the turning that I do with wonderful wood, recycled wood from Arborist now. Um, they cut down a lot of very interesting species of trees around the city, and once in a while I'm lucky enough to get a chunk of one of them. So this is my little buddy who helps me around the shop. She keeps all the rodents out of the shop and the house. But anyway, welcome aboard.
Hey, welcome back. It's Clint Stewart with
Ed.
Arborist now, and I am here with my good friend Ed Kelly in his shop. He was showing us some wood turning today, and Ed is one of my favorite people. Just a quick backstory before I let Ed talk. We met when I was milling slabs and interior grade stuff and building furniture, and we just hit it off. And you ended up coming and basically working with me almost every day for a couple of
Couple of
years,
years, yeah.
just hanging out, making stuff, sawing wood, milling, and the only thing ever I was ever asked for was just pieces of wood, slabs or wet stuff for turning. So it was amazing time meeting Ed, and I'm just glad to have him here now to tell us about a little bit more about who he is. Ed's an old school Bay Area legend. You were started off as a pile driver, and then a union leader for the pile drivers, and then you were diving for Navy, and then all sorts of crazy stuff.
For the Defense Department, not the Navy yet.
Defense Department. His story is amazing. Hopefully, he can tell you a little bit more about it. These days, if he's not traveling to Antarctica or the Galapagos with his wife and doing some crazy wild stuff, he's in here turning. So, just a little bit about you, Ed. Where were you born and raised?
Born and raised in Oakland, and then did high school in Hayward, and then met this lovely lady I'm married to and moved to San Francisco.
Right on. And you were pile driver, which pile drivers is, I mean, you can tell everybody better what a pile driver is. It's not just a wrestling move. It's
Yeah, we uh, build foundations for high rises and bridges by driving concrete or steel piling into the ground
yeah,
for the foundations. It was
real work,
good
man's
work.
work, hard work. And then you were union leader for the pile drivers as well,
Yeah,
right?
I spent 12 years as a financial secretary and business agent for the
Right on.
union.
And then after that, like the
Well, then,
Department of Defense
well,
doing,
that was before the,
oh, that was
yeah.
before.
Then I segued into the private investigation business.
Oh, yeah, the private investigation. So Ed
Yeah,
has lived a very
that's
colorful, amazing life. Um, but I think the most of the focus here was the wood. Like your passion is turning and building, and we're showing. There's going to be clips of the furniture you made in the house, a lot of your turn stuff. We're going to feature some like beautiful Irish yew. That was some of this most insane stuff I ever got that you did a beautiful table out of. A lot of beautiful turn stuff, tables, another yew round that you use as a table. When did you get into woodworking?
I started woodworking at a very young age. I mean, pre-teens, I was building skateboards where we take a 2x4 and nail halves of two skates on it. And then I started building little tables and furniture and stuff when I was just a kid and developed a passion for woodworking.
Yeah.
When I was overseas, we had a nice wood shop on the base, and we built desks and chairs and tables and things there. And um, once I met this guy and saw the rich assortment of wood available, I thought, I think I'll get a lathe and a bandsaw and a bunch of wood turning tools. And that started probably during the pandemic, when I got kind of seriously interested in wood turning
Yeah.
because I couldn't go
And you've
anyplace.
come a long way in those few years. I mean, I think there's hundreds and hundreds of pieces that you've done. I mean, you see like in the shots where we're just kind of panning through, you're seeing all the blanks that you have, all the you're doing so much stuff, then you're letting it sit because you're doing so many different things. You're doing all these vases and really intricate, beautiful woodwork. But with the turning, and then some of that's coming from like when we're talking about like I'll give you green wood, and you'll turn some things when they're softer,
Correct.
let them dry,
Let them dry, and then finish them.
and then finish them.
Yeah, it's interesting. Turning green wood is much, in one respect, it's easier because the wood is softer, and then you kind of rough out a bowl or a base or whatever, and then let it dry for the finishing touches, because as the wood dries, it moves, of course. I mean, people are familiar with the fact that wood tends to split and check. Like if you cut down a tree and let it lay on the ground, before long it's splitting. Well, if you take a piece of green wood and treat the ends of it with something that inhibits the loss of moisture, it won't split and check, and you can actually make things out of it. Rough them out, let them thoroughly dry, and then finish them.
And I mean, the piece that we have you turning today, this is actually a blank. I think that I had pulled out of the kiln years ago.
Right.
And then you started it dry. You started turning it dry.
Right. This piece of wood is about 13% moisture.
Yeah.
We measure the moisture of the wood to get some idea about how far we can use it without letting it dry further.
Yeah, and I can remember exactly where that's from. That's American elm from Golden Gate Park tennis courts, which I had a ton of, and I still have some of them in my garage.
Yeah, one thing I love about using the recycled wood from Arborist now is that, number one, Clint knows just what it is and where it came from. And it's an opportunity to recycle some wood that otherwise might wind up in somebody's fire pit. If it's small enough, or if it's big enough, it'll wind up being turned into some nice furniture. Yeah. We've made some wonderful big conference tables, benches, chairs.
You've done everything. We've done tons of stuff. And when Reggie was working with me, shout out to Reggie if he's watching this. I mean, we've done big, huge, like canted oak dovetail console tables for big entryways and big, massive conference tables to, I mean, there's tons and tons and tons of different styles of work you've done with us.
Yeah, we made some beautiful big conference tables. It took a forklift to load onto a truck, and 5 or 6 guys to carry into the office and set up.
Yeah, so I'd seen some cool stuff. He's been around, and all for free wood. So that's not it's hard to find good help. It's harder to find good help that just wants to work for wood. So
yeah, well, as you may have seen in some of Clint's shots around here, there's lots of free wood piled up.
Yeah. He actually tried to give him wood, and he'd tell me, "No, I can't take any more wood because I haven't worked through it yet." But
yeah, and I have a storage room in the back that's very full. Of recycled wood.
And I love like looking at also. I'm like looking at stuff over there and looking at stuff over there, and I mean, obviously you have some like exotic hardwoods like Bengay and Bobinga and some things like this, but I'm looking around. I see Monterey cypress. A few of those, the manzanita bulb, which you'll see that's got the little mouse kind of like poking out of this hole. Manzanita, it's a root ball manzanita, which is probably one of the most stunning wild things, which we got a hold of that. I gave you some large chunks, which you turned.
There's a chunk right at your feet over there. You can hold.
Oh yeah, so this is a perfect example. So this is a manzanita root ball. This is kind of more what it looks like before you put a flat edge on it. So just this gnarly, kind of like a lava rock, and obviously it's pretty hard to turn, and it's also got a lot of recesses in it, so it can be extremely hard to turn. But we were lucky enough to get some of this from our buddy Manzanita Mike, old school Santa Cruz Miller and stuff.
There's a few bowls,
and then these are when they actually turn out, and they're just so. This is probably the most stunning.
And sometimes when you're turning this wood, this happens. This was going to be a bowl, but unfortunately it wound up flying all over the shop in big chunks.
Scary.
Yeah. So it's.
But this stuff is beautiful. So yeah, I mean, there's so much beautiful stuff around here. Some oak we got from Big Basin State Park, the oldest state park in California, when that burned in the CZU complex about 3-4 years ago. Some madrone, a bunch of beautiful redwood burl. There's a couple things you can see that are actually have little burns on still the live part of it, which is so you put really good use to all the different crazy things that we come across. And
It's more fun than just taking a nice chunk of wood from the wood shop.
Yeah, yeah.
And, buying a nice, beautiful chunk. Working with salvage materials is really what I'm interested in doing.
Yeah.
Because it's more challenging and more fun, quite honestly.
Yep. This is and there's no shortage of that for sure. We have so much of it.
Thanks to you.
Yeah. So, well, Ed, thank you so much for sitting with me today and just showing us around your shop and showing us all these beautiful pieces. And I mean, Ed has one of the most beautiful houses in San Francisco, and him and his wife just have great style and so much of his beautiful woodwork. And so nice to see our wood that we're milling and removing as arborists, and then I'm milling and breaking down for Ed and what he needs, and then you see it in this beautiful finished form. So, Ed, thank you so much for sitting with me, man. And
it's my pleasure. Yeah,
I got plenty of free wood, so next time you want to do some work, man.
Well, we'll talk about that next time you're up here, because
there's no better.
It's been a lot of fun, and one of the greatest joys in my interest in wood turning, besides getting a lot of nice material, is meeting this guy and becoming a good friend.
Yep, one of my best friends ever, man. Ed Kelly, the legend, the man, the myth. So, Ed, thank you again for spending some time with me, man.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
All right.
Take care, folks.
See you guys.